Bottom line is, if this gentleman wasn't in the country, my daughter would be here.
In 2016, Mejia was charged with homicide by motor vehicle.
21-year-old Sarah Root was fatally injured in the incident.
Investigators believe he was in the U.S. illegally.
My daughter was an American citizen, so if this guy wasn't in my country and wouldn't have did this deed, my kid would be here.
From the beginning, she was such a delight. She was always happy and just outgoing, and she was my social butterfly. She loved being around people, making people laugh.
She was very athletic, did good at soccer.
It didn't matter how busy she was, she always made time for people.
She went to college, graduated from college with a bachelor's in criminal investigations with a 4.0, hours before she was killed by this gentleman on 33rd and L in Omaha, Nebraska. I woke up in the middle of the night, she wasn't home, and both my children, we keep in contact with each other no matter what we're doing. And she wasn't home, so I tried texting her, no luck. Tried calling her, no luck. Think maybe she's coming home late.
I had gotten the call from my son, and it was at 4:12 in the morning, and said, "Hey Mom, Sarah's been in an accident, we need to go to the hospital."
About that time, I had a call that the police were knocking at my door and she'd been in a wreck. Went to the hospital and she'd been hit at 33rd and L, and she was coded. The ambulance brought her to the hospital. She was on machines, and I identified her by some tattoos on her rib cage.
Eswin Mejia had a blood alcohol of 0.241. And he was street racing another vehicle and plowed into the back of Sarah's SUV at that stoplight.
Pushed her 306 feet and severed her spinal cord.
He was pinned in the vehicle truck he was in, so he had no chance to get out. He had injured his leg, so they had to take him to the hospital, and he was in the emergency room until the following day, which would have been Monday, where he was booked into jail that Monday. We had went to prepare for Sarah's funeral, and that's when we had found out that there was such a low bond set.
So he'd set the bond $50,000, 10%, $5,000.
That was less than Sarah's funeral cost.
The firemen and the police at the local level on scene, awesome. They did what they were told. You know, they repeatedly tried to call ICE, and they said this guy was not an enforcement priority.
We all showed up when he was supposed to come back for his whatever hearing, and he never showed up, and we walked out, and then we met with the district attorney and the assistant district attorney to talk about what was going to happen next. We just were told that they would never quit searching for him. And again, you can say those things and we just take you at your word, but we have no proof that that goes on, and they would bring him to justice if they found him.
Happening today, the man accused of killing a Council Bluffs woman in a crash will appear in court.
For 9 years, the illegal immigrant who killed Sarah Root was never held accountable. Thanks to President Trump's leadership and work with the Honduras government, Edwin Mejia has been arrested.
In February, police arrested Mejia in Honduras and notified the U.S. Now he will return to the United States to stand trial.
This video shows Eswin Mejia arriving in Omaha on Friday after being extradited from Honduras.
I'm calling Sarah's dad, and I'm calling my son and saying, "Oh my God, he's been caught," and they're all in disbelief as well. And I'm like, "No, it's true, it's true. Now we just got to wait for the process of extradition, and however that plays out, because we don't know the criminal system, you know." So I'm like, but we've waited 9 years. We can wait as long as this needs to take to happen. He's caught. He can't do this to somebody else. President Trump had put together the Voice office and had a bunch of us angel families out there to go through what we were lacking when these things happened to us. And then they had that most wanted list with all these killers on there.
He was on the top 10 ICE list, and when Joe Biden was president, he abolished the whole list. when our President Trump come back re-election, he was looking back on that list, to that old list, going after individuals that they were looking for on the past.
He gave us his platform to speak on our loved ones, and I am so appreciative to him for that.
From the beginning, it was just nothing was good, and now things are good. You know, he's back in this country. Sarah's Law was passed. That's going to help some other individual not have to worry about, maybe not somebody being murdered, about the fleeing part.
Congressman Feenstra, Randy Feenstra, had taken over for Congressman Steve King, and he jumped right in and helped us with his version at the Congress level of Sarah's Law. And then again, Senator Joni Ernst took it up a notch to the Senate again, which she's tried for years to get it passed in the Senate. It would pass out of the House, but not in the Senate. And she finally was able to get it as an amendment onto the Laken Riley Act. And it's no different than it said in 2016. It is, if you are here illegally, you seriously injure someone, serious bodily injury or death, you are detained. There's no chance of bonding out. You can bond out, but ICE is going to detain you, which were all failures that happened to us in 2016. Her life ended, and she never got to be a mother. She never got to be a wife. She'll never get to be an aunt. She never got to have a career that she worked so hard to get that 4.0 in.
At least we have some type of justice coming. A week ago, we didn't know if that was going to be a reality, even with him caught in Honduras. Until he set foot on U.S. soil, they might not have extradited him. So at least there is an option, knowing that he's going to do some type of justice for what he did for my daughter. To me, the rest of his life's great. You know, my daughter ain't coming back. You know, my whole family misses out on everything from somebody who shouldn't have been here. Been pretty fortunate as far as my president and senator, along with a lot of other elected officials. You know, Marco Rubio, Kristi Noem, the Honduran government, U.S. Marshals, and bringing this guy back to Omaha. He was in Honduras. He's going to face some justice now. He had no intent in coming back. My president brought him back. My senator brought him back, and a lot of public officials brought him back. I can go on and on and on just in that direction, but I'm thankful. But he's not 1,900 miles now. He's 3 miles from me now, and pretty soon we'll get the ball rolling that direction, and hopefully he's in prison for a while, and then hopefully after that he rots in hell. I have no sympathy for him.
Speaking about her and everything that's happened is therapy for me, and hoping to help others out there that this has happened to. None of this brings Sarah back, but hopefully it prevents somebody else from having to go through the same thing.